something. I don't know if you understand me, but when you looking for some song in a radio and
Mm-hmm.
you have to connect some, I don't know in English the word, but station. I don't know if
Yes,
in
station.
Portuguese, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And I believe that in with the words works similar to this. We have to connect with some station that bring to us the mood of the conversation or kind of words that will flow through us. I don't know actually. Just to share.
It is beautiful because this is like a miracle which is happening. The ability to speak, because it's not something that we are deciding upon, or we have a freedom of choice, because we cannot capture how this is immense miracle, the communication that comes from the source. Because in nature there's all kinds of communication, the trees, the bees, the ants, they communicate between themselves and nature, the roots of the trees, the leaves, the streams of the water in the oceans, the birds are communicating, fish. So there's great communication which is happening all the time. But with us humans, in a way, it comes through words. And it is kind of a miracle because it comes as it comes. And we are, in a way, we are the chariot or the vehicle, yes, for the spirit. It is
But
beautiful, yes.
no, I think that somehow we have to be available to receive this kind of speech, this kind of words. I don't know if you understand me, but
Yes, I do. I do. Good evening, Yanis. We are very happy to see you here. It will come as it once, let's say something which is happening, daily happening, something that happened, let's say, in a building when you, let's say, you meet neighbors. Shabbat shalom, Yanis. And you're just passing through and they're coming in the opposite direction and you say hello in each language or how do you do? And it is happening in the moment. So, like seeing those neighbors randomly here, or if you speak to a friend over the phone or in a meeting, it's just what happens. It is because none of us is sitting at night before the day begins and writes, um, let's say, a speech of how he's going to speak the next morning, to whom, in what hour, and what will be the topic. People wake up in the morning, they exchange few words, they shower, they go to work. In work, all kinds of things are happening, or during the traveling to work, things are happening, and nobody is planning this in advance. Even if executives or so, they're going with how do you say, a meeting calendar? How do you say, they schedule meetings? Even it says 9, you're meeting this, and 10 this. Good afternoon, Abigail. We're happy to see you. Even if you walk with this meeting or with this calendar of appointments, it is still not clear to anyone, yes, what he will say in the meeting, or what the other side will say in the meeting, or if the meeting is composed of 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and even the meeting has a topic and a time and a place. What will happen in the moment of the meeting is a mystery. Not just at work. Also, how do you say, when you go on a journey, sometimes there exchange with a bus driver, yes, or you go to a coffee house to pick up a coffee for the road. Things are happening on the moment. We cannot plan anything. And this is the great freedom. So, anyways, this is happening at the moment. and the moment in a way manifests itself according to this inner reality. But we, all the time, not accepting this. We think that we are the creators of our lives, yes, that we are, in a way, self-made humans, that I decide, yes, how to go or what will be the main target. And we are upset if it goes, but this is an illusion. All of what we have grown up upon, it is an illusion. And the great freedom is to drop this kind of idea that we are the architects of our lives, and just to accept, to receive in simplicity, to accept what is happening in the moment, because what is happening in the moment, this is the will of God, or the source, yes, or divinity. It has nothing to do with what we think about the world. Nothing. And we tend to get upset. It happened like to the left or to the right. It became blue or green and I wanted to be purple, so. But life is just constant happening. And we have no control about what the moment will manifest or will bring about. We are I'd say most of the times we are deluded that we are in control, but we are not. And it is quite simple. It is quite simple, and it is relieving from the burden of selfing, of those thoughts, I have to become, I have to do. If I would not do it, nobody will do it, and all of those things.
Great, Yati. Thank you for sharing.
You're most welcome. We think that we are in charge and we are going like with heavy shoulders, like we're carrying a lot of load on the shoulders. Yes, and all our minds are occupied with this heaviness. I have to do this. No, we don't have to do anything. And we are not carrying the world upon our shoulders. We are not Atlas, yes. So it's quite relieving, yes. It is quite interesting because when the weather changes here and it's getting, let's say, colder and there's like less light hours, so everything, the nature slows down, like in winter in general. So you don't feel the urge to act so much or to go out. But when the sun comes, especially here, I guess also in other places, when the sun comes really early in the morning, 4, and at 8, after 4 hours of sun, you feel like it's noon. So you feel like all the time a drive to do and to act, and we believe that this is our own power and our own capabilities. But it's not. It is not. And realizing this gives a lot of peace, because the sense of self-doership always keeps us between the two, left or right. Yes, or right or wrong. Yes, cold or hot, all of those things, all of those decisions, so to speak, that we are making. We are not making any decisions. It has been proved. There is a term in English, decision making. Yes, like it's something that you make, you take and you break, yes, but not. It has been proven that the decision already is being prepared already, and we are just receiving it. Yes, before we notice something, there is agency in us that receives from the higher or accept from the higher, the decision, and we are just anyway receiving it and acting accordingly. So we are not decision makers. We cannot do anything. We cannot love. We cannot hate. We cannot break. And We cannot fix. We cannot do all of this. We are just being, in a way, lived. Do you understand, Rodrigo, Abigail, Yanis? Therefore, we cannot be, in a way, upset. Though it comes and appears, suddenly there's a rage or upset, but it's not really that we are capable of all of this. It comes from the source. Like you see a tree. A tree can grow by itself, grow leaves and branches. You see, if you accelerate, if you focus the camera 1 year on a tree and you just accelerate the filming, you can see suddenly it comes out with branches, with leaves, and the wind is blowing and fruit and so. The trees does it by itself? Of course not. You need earth, land, and fire, meaning the sun, and you need air, and you need water, and it needs to be animated by to grow, to appear in nature, to stand there in the wind or in the sun. We are not any different. We don't have our own powers. We don't have our own agencies. We are educated to think that we have our own governments inside one person. Yes, person is also questionable. Persona in Greek is only a mask, yes? Something that covers, it's not a real thing. But we are incapable of doing all of this. Though we were indoctrinated from the beginning that we are in charge and we are responsible and so on and so on and so on. Just to give you an example of what is happening here. We live in a place that there is a stream of newcomers from Ethiopia. They live next by, and we see them every day, and they are very, very different from any other people that we have met on this planet. They have no friction with the surrounding. This is quite interesting because they are, in a way, they live the moment, and they don't come with demand or the sense of self that I deserve that, and I have to jump first in the bus, or I have to bypass all the people are standing in the line and get my things first. They don't have this. And today I remembered something very interesting because it is very ancient community. And when there is a deliverance of a baby, the mother carries the baby on her back. They have a special binding of the baby. And she's going with the baby on her back or on her lap for 3 years, meaning all the time, constantly. They don't use, Kinderwagen, yes, not the first one, like when there's a first Kinderwagen or baby's cradle when it's flat, when the baby's just being born. They don't use a baby's wagon. They don't use sitting wagon for the toddlers. 3 years, constantly 24/7, the baby is being carried by the mother on her lap. And it is interesting because when those babies are growing to be later on adults and humans, they don't have so much friction with the world. They go with nature. They go with what the moment brings about. They don't think that they deserve better because in a way they don't experience this schisma, this disconnection from the mother. They don't feel something that the world is against them. Because most of the people, they feel that the world or the other person who stands in the station or in the road is an opponent. This is how immediately what the brain does. When the brain detects an image or a figure on the road, on the street, supermarket, immediately there's a chemical reaction and says this is animosity or this is another body. We don't have control over this chemical process which is happening in the brain. But this is what happens. And immediately starts a rivalry whether we admit this or not, the brain takes this image to be as opponent to us, to our image, so to speak, to our body or three-dimensional object which is walking. And subconscious rivalry starts in the brain because there's a sense of division. But it is interesting because from the Ethiopian, you don't feel this. You don't feel this anymore. They never experienced the separation. And I was thinking about it because the Bible speaks about the moment that Isaac, and there is a feast when Isaac is 3 years old. They make a feast because in the age of 3, they, in a way, the child, like 3, this is the number of the Spirit also, or Ruach Elohim, the Spirit of God. Ruach Elohim is 300. So at the age of 3, they have a feast. And in a way, there is marking or celebrating the going out of the baby or the toddler from the custody of the mother to the world. And the Bible speaks about this feast because it is a very important moment, because the child can go to the world, but with the blow of the Spirit, not with animosity. It is in the Western world, if there is a birth, immediately the mother in Israel has to go to work after several weeks. She cannot stay too much to be with the baby. So she has to go to work. Either she has some kind of a nanny from the family, or she has to put the baby on the children care or day care, and they have to deliver the baby with a kinderwagen or with a car with all kinds of kangaroos or metal to another station, aunt, granny, yes, daycare, and everything is so mechanical. And those babies, I don't know, a few weeks, they already, good morning, Jill, we're very happy to see you here. And the baby is already experiencing a separation and not experience a real contact. Yes, there is a daycare. In the daycare, they will be fed like in mechanics or machinery process. They will be fed on time. We're very happy to see you here. The babies will be fed on time. They will be cleaned on time. There is, most of the cases, there is no neglection in a daycare. But they're being thrown. Like the mother has to go to work, so she throws the babies with a kinderwagen with its, how do you say, bag, baby's bag, with the diapers, with all kinds of creams and different suits to change. She throws him at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. She'll come at 5. She's exhausted. And the baby's already exhausted from so long day outside of home, and he will be fed and he will be nourished and he will be cleaned. Yes, but in a, how do you say, mechanical way. He will not be related. And you see in a way that the babies that are growing like from, let's say, kinderwagen to daycare, they're different. They experience more separation. And this is amazing because the Ethiopian kids, and already in the Ethiopian community, you see diversity. You see those people that grow their children on their back. And you see like also Ethiopians that were born in Israel already, and they're going in a way with time, and they want to progress, they want to have stability, so they're using cars and everything, and it comes with a cost of this connection and nervousness and a sense of control. This is quite interesting because the frustration that we are carrying comes from the sense of disconnection from the world, nothing else. And with the sense of disconnection comes also the sense of I have this control, which again creates a sense of frustration, and so it's like cat and mouse. But if we don't look at the world as a place of animosity or rivalry, or we need to achieve something, and if I don't do this first, I will never get it. If we release this kind of notion, it's just being. Questions or thoughts? Jill, Rodrigo, Abigail, Yanis. Usually in life, people are just having babies. They throw them phone at the age of few weeks. They want to have their peace. So they make all kinds of arrangement that they will have peace. And this is how it is. Yes, it is very beautiful. It's just amazing how it is. And the mother, they are never in stress. And the great, in a way, observation was it is in those days of wars and rockets, because we were on the road when there was like rockets attack, missiles attack, ballistics. And you see, and once it was in a supermarket, so we went to the shelter room, to the bunker in the supermarket. And in a moment like this, you see how people, the community, because there were different people in a supermarket for all kinds, diverse neighborhoods and so. And you see how they behave, and they don't take it personally. They just, in a way, comment in the moment to protect, but they don't have a sense of grudge or something against another person. They don't have it. And this is impressive to see, because you see like different people from different continents and cultural backgrounds under the same conditions of uncertainty, a threat of life, injuries, and so on. And how they react to this, and they did not, you see that they don't take it personally. And they just move with us. This is like you move through life. And this is amazing. This is quite amazingly to see. Once I was working in a daycare, and there was a physiotherapist. She lived in America, and she was impressed all the time from the local, you say Indians or indigenous, that they are carrying the babies with them. And she told me already then that it makes a great change for the child to grow like this. And I noticed also when I see now the Ethiopian mothers and babies, not all of them, some already adopted the modern way with kinderwagen and to move with all these metal pieces around, and creates a lot of alienation. And you can see in baby's shop, before even the baby is born, the parents are going to visit the shop. This is baby's shop. And few weeks before the labor, they get from the shop like few pages or a book of inventory, what they have to supply for the future baby. Room and bed, of course, and protection for flies if the sun, and so pages of equipment for the babies. And like different mobiles about the bed, and how to say, you call it in Hebrew University, like a carpet when they are 6 months, 3 months, when they can all on the floor can gaze and touch. And so you see that going into the shop, they get this book. They have to make a V, yes, next to each line, if they like it or not. Yes, I see, Jill. Yes, yes, it's just to drop it. We also did not grow with this life to carry babies here, like in a ancient way. Just to drop it, Jill. Just to drop it. So we see that people are going. They get those books. They buy at least 300, I don't know, items from this book. They come, they cross the labor in hospital, they come home, the delivery comes, or even before, part before, part after. They, how do you say, furnish the house with babies, but they don't relate to the babies. So do you understand? This going to this baby shop with all the games and the mobiles and the special diapers with a special Disney print on it, light pink or light blue or light yellow, and all of those devices around the baby are not relating to the baby. It's not relating to the baby. So many couples are experiencing the same thing. They're occupied most of the time in purchasing all kinds of equipment. Yes, for the babies, what the babies need basically a relation, because if it will be related, it will not need all the supplements. So sometimes you see mothers with a Kinderwagen, the sleeping, yes, sleeping Kinderwagen, baby's wagon in the bus, and around the wagon you can see all kinds of mobiles and noisemakers and all kinds of ribbons and pins, and it's like universe for itself. And the babies just need a relation. So it is quite interesting, and they more stuff the babies, they more stuff later on the children, but it's about relationship. This is the only thing that exists. Questions? The thing is that carrying of a baby until 3 is the key point, or relating, because what happens in 2 years, 2.5 years of a baby's child, toddler, the brain is developed, quite developed, that the toddler already noticed that he is in a way separated entity. It has a name or parents, and this is his print here. And the more he will grow, he will add more and more details to this personal story. And this process is happening between 2 or 2.5 years. You call it ego, something. There have a sense of story, personality to this baby, and he sees himself outside of the world. It is interestingly that traditionally, when the babies are being carried with the mother until the age of 3, this process, the machinery happening of the brain, in a way cannot influence that much, because the relationship with the mother or with the one who's carrying the baby is much more significant. This is it. This is the thing. Questions or thoughts, please feel free to ask or to say whatever comes to you. In the beginning of the conversation, we mentioned that in a way the Spirit uses the words, the spoken words, as a vehicle. Again, the Spirit that comes from the source uses words as vehicle. Usually we think about a car as a vehicle, a ship, a train, an airplane, a mean of transportation that will take us from one place to another, all the goods. But words are the vehicles in which the Spirit chooses to manifest itself. And like the car that has the capability to move from one neighborhood to another or one city to another, also the word can travel, not just geographically, yes, from one spot to another spot, location to location. The world is a vehicle that a Spirit uses to travel in time and space. Is this clear? So in a way, the words are the greatest mobilizer, because words, they have the ability to mobilize us. We are like the boat, yes, human three-dimensional objects, figurines, but once the Spirit, yes, blows its air in us, there's a sail coming, and we are mobilized to do things. Without words, without the divine speech, we would be just, how do you say, communities of dolls made out of clay. Yes? Without the divine or the source blow in us, we would just be a community of dolls, of puppets that made out of mud. This is what binds us, the ability to speak. The ability to speak binds all those organs together. This is the oneness. Have you read the story in the book of Daniel? There's a story that happens in the book of Daniel. Are you familiar with the story? If not, not. Have you heard? Yes, Rodrigo, would you like to unmute and share the story in the book of Daniel? We shall be delighted to hear it. It's okay. It's okay. Have you heard that you're not? Yes, I understand. Have you heard the term golem before? Golem. Golem, like a puppet made out of mud without the ability to move. Yes, Rodrigo. Yes. You can still unmute and speak, and even about the golem. We shall be, if you have the capability to speak, yes? Yes, Rodrigo. Can you connect, please? Let's see. Do you hear Rodrigo? Jill, Abigail, Yanis, can you hear Rodrigo? cannot hear you. Let's write to him that he will see. Cannot hear you. Maybe did not connect well.
Can you hear
Rodrigo?
me?
Yes, now we
Can you
can.
hear?
Yes, now we can.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
you.
But regarding the Golem, what I know it's, how can I say, a Jewish tradition that creature made from wood,
Yes,
made from Adama,
yes,
and the Rabbi say some words. These words they bring to life this creature made of wood. Then it's a creature. There is, I believe, a book that told about famous goalie that live in Czechoslovakia.
yes. Can you increase your voice? Can you increase the volume because they can hardly hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Can you please?
Better.
Yes, yes. Can you just repeat, please, that we should hear you?
Okay, what I remember about the golem, it's a Jewish tradition that it's a creature made from wood,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that the Rabbi say some words, and through the words, the golem, the creature made from wood, became alive. And I heard, right, or I read some story about a famous golem that lived, I believe, in Czechoslovakia or something like that. There is a lot of, um, how can I say, legends about
Yes,
these creatures that really made by man a mood creature, and this creature became alive through some words that the Rabbi says to this golem. Oh, no, wait, sorry. It's
yes, yes,
just what I say to share. Sorry.
yes. So thank you so much, Rodrigo. There's a story about the golem in Prague. Prague is the capital city of what used to be Czechoslovakia. And there is a creature, yes, that is like a puppet, yes, made from any kind of material, but is incapable of being animated at all. But only when the sage, yes, thank you, when the sage is putting a note of words, or one word basically, this is being, he puts the 4 letters of the tetragrammaton on a little note, and suddenly this puppet or this golem or this creature, which is made out of mud or wood or all kinds of material, is capable of being animated or moving. There is also a story, similar story, in the book of Daniel. There is an image, or there is a sculpture, is in because Daniel, the book of Daniel is happening in exile in Babylon, because Daniel was taken with other 3 Hebrew children from Jerusalem, from Judea. 4 children, brilliant children, like the 4 letters of the tetragrammaton. This is what it means. The 4 children that were taken from Judea, from Jerusalem, they're reflecting the 4 letters of the tetragrammaton, and they were taken by the Babylonian king to his palace. They were brilliant children, and he took them because he thought to make use out of them when they will grow up. And they were already brilliant children, but he wanted to have a sense of what they're capable of, or abilities. So those 4 children are being brought into Babylon. And one day, there is like several scenes in the book of Daniel, but one day, one scene is about Tselem. There is a Tselem, like an image, a sculpture, or a creature that everybody, in a way, is bowing, is worshipping in Babylon. Just a statue. It in English we can say many parallel words to Tselem. It's an image, sculpture, statue, and so on. So everybody is bowing to this powerful, so to speak. but it's a foreign worship. It's just made out of matter. It's not real. But everybody, this is what the Babylonians are doing, and in a way, this is what Abraham was running from when he was leaving his father's place. Because in a way, story of Daniel returns to the same place that Abraham was going from. Yes, so it's interesting. The exile of foreign worship, that I'm the maker, and so. So in the book of Daniel, there's the Tselem, the statue that everybody's worshipping. But once Daniel, in a way, if we want, we can also read this chapter, because I think it's most of it in Aramaic, so it's a bit problematic to read now. He takes the 4 letters, yes, or 4 letters of being, and everything is just being demolished or being fall to the floor. This is just to show us that all what we are capturing as reality, as walking figurine, again, what animates all of us, all nature, is His Spirit, the Divine Spirit. This is the spirit of being, which is happening at the moment. Once the spirit or consciousness is being removed, elevated, or ascended from, let's say, 3-dimensional object, which is a body, is ascended. The body is staying behind. The body does not have any ability of its own to move the heart, the lungs, and so. And to this process, we call death. Once the spirit elevated, the body is just stay as an empty matter, clay without animation, without the ability to move, to talk, to dance. And to this process of the elevation of the spirit, we call death. But we can ask, what is dying or what is perishing? Because to the spirit nothing happened. The spirit just removed its dressing, removed its, in a way, what does it mean that the spirit removed the dressing? There is, let's say, a man and he has a jacket. He comes home, he removes the jacket. There is no need in a jacket at home. In the same manner, when the spirit removes its dressing, it's not just the jacket, this is the whole body. Consciousness continues. The body or the dressing stays behind. And we call this process death. The removable of the dressing. Yes, we call death. But this is only a dressing. It's like a jacket. Again, when there is a birth, when a baby is being born, what is happening? The spirit is dressing in this baby. This is her dress. So the spirit goes into the dressing. She's getting dressed. And this is the baby. And we call this birth. And we are happy. Because something, the life of a baby came from nothing, and we are very happy about something. Because before there was nothing. This baby grows to be adult, has a full life, reach 200 years. And then the spirit is moving on, and the body stays behind, the dressing. It's dressing. It used to be a baby. Is left behind. And we call this death. But in the spirit, there is no change. So as we change different kinds of dressing during the day or during the season or during our lives. So the Spirit has different dresses or dressing during the centuries. It is the same Spirit. Once it is dressed, let's say, if we speak about historical terms, we can see the Spirit dressed itself in France in the 16th century, and then the Spirit moves and dressed itself in a body, yes, in America in the 18th century, and Spirit moves and dresses itself in a body in Europe in the 20th century. Those are just different dresses. It is easier for us to look at a fashion shop, yes, or when we walk in the street or in the boulevard, we can see people are moving in dresses, or we can see in the vitrina different kinds of coats now for the winter, different fashion. Yes, and we see there's a scarf, there's a hat, there's a jacket, there's a coat. But in a way, we are people also are just scarves and dresses and hats. We are different dresses of covers of vehicles for the Spirit. It is easier for us to look at a clothes shop and to see how there's a new fashion. They show like these colors or these coats, but we are also different kinds of fashion. We. Yes, Rodrigo?
Can you hear me, Eti?
Yes, we can. Yes, thank you.
Well, Eti, you mentioned that the Spirit manifests itself in the world through the words,
Yes, yes.
It circulates.
Yes.
And this movement of the Spirit to the world, how can we consciously participate in this? My question is if we can choose what form of manifestation of the Spirit will occur through us.
It's interesting. No, we cannot. It just happens. We cannot choose anything. None of us can choose anything. We did not choose to be born. Under what condition to be born? Which continent, language, and so on, education. We didn't choose any of this. What season of the year to be born? Who will be our friends? Nothing. Nothing that we just... The more we're realizing this, it is a great liberty. This is what the Spirit does. The Spirit chooses to manifest itself through a baby, so babies will be born. The Spirit chooses to live and, to live certain lifestyle, she will ascend and the body will be taken care of in this way or another. And this is it. There is no lack. There is a law in physics. Nothing is lacking. Yes, it's freeing. There is no lack and nothing is really missing. Nothing is really missing. Yes, just we're taking this life so seriously. Like if we did not create the oceans, the whales, the trees, the bees. No man is capable of creating a bee in a laboratory. We're just visiting here and we are like guests. So we behave like guests. Guests are coming and going. They're not staying. They're not the landlords. But many of us, or let's say in parts of our lives, we tend to believe that we are the landlords, that we are the owners. Yes, because the paper says you are the owner of the car or the house or so. But we are not owning anything, not even the body. Not even the way we did not determine, yes, how shall be the quality of the voice or what words we shall say. None of this. We did not term our conditions, what height or so, if we shall be high or tall. I mean, tall or not tall. Yes, we did not term if we shall be like people with ability to move, let's say in sport, or some of us will be. We did not terms all. We did not have any decision in all of this. Nobody has decided to be a basketball player, not even himself. He was born with those conditions that later will be understood, yes, that it's good for him or he can express himself in basketball playing. Another one will be born with capabilities to be a scientist, but he did not choose that. We did not choose any of this. We did not choose. How deep it is. How deep it is. We did not choose any or none of the circumstances. Nothing. So how can we claim that we know and we are decision makers? What kinds of decision do we make? To eat, just give you this. It's interesting. In Israel, when people are coming to restaurant, there is a sense of menu, and there comes a steward and say, "What will you have? This or that, or this or that, or this or that." There's a sense that those who are eating at the moment in the restaurant, they can decide a great decision. What they eat now, potatoes or rice, soup or fish or steak, and the more the stewards or in airplanes, they are around them all the time, asking, do you want water, do you want wine, do you want it? The more the circling around them, the more the sense that they are in charge of decisions that are really, really matters. But none of this really matters. And to whom? And the sense that... Yes, Rodrigo? Yes, but how can we... What? You're not responsible. The society, of course, will judge us according to responsibility, but we are not in charge. We are not in charge of what is happening. There's a bomb, yes? So everybody's hiding. So they are running into shelter, or they're folding themselves inside. Who is in, it happens in the moment. All the rest is just an illusion. There is a thunderstorm, and there's a great sound. So some animals or even humans are just stunned by the sound. So it just happens in the moment. Who has a responsibility of any of this? And you go out in the morning and the sun is glaring, and suddenly you blink because the sun is just, if you don't blink, you get blind. So, or you take sunglasses. Who is in charge of all of this? No, nothing. Yeah, very good question, Yanis. Are you a lawyer? Yes. No person. There's also no person. This is just a borrowed word. It means mask. No mask. No person has any. Yes, this is it. No one. Just no one. No one. There is a. Can I read you a poem about it? Are you interested of hearing a poem? Maybe sometimes a poem can say something. I don't know. If you're interested, I will translate it to you as well. I just moved here in Discord to those who are on YouTube because I just posted it, that I can read and translate you. There's also recording in Hebrew, so I'll read just for the sake of melody, and then I will translate it to you. And if you have questions or things to say, please feel free. Who credits you? This is the name of the poem. Who credits you? The word in Hebrew is makif, is like circles, but it means to credit, to grant you with a credit. Mi makif lecha kol ele. Who credits you all of this? מי מקיף לך כל אלה? Who credits you all of this? שמיים וגם ים. Heavens and also the seas, the oceans. הרים גבוהים. High mountains. פלנטות, planets. דיבור אחד מושלם. One completed or unified speech. מי מקיף לך כל אלה? Who credits you with all of these ארצות וקונטיננטים, lands and continents? מי מקיף לך כל זאת? Who credits you all of this באופן אימננטי and immanent fashion away? מי מנחיל אותך כל אלה? Who inherits you all of these? מנשים בך אוויר, blows air in you. מי בכלל בך טורח? Who even bothers in you? ומה בדיוק שביר? And what is exactly fragile? מי אותך שולח? Who sends you? ובדקדוק לאן? And in precision to where? אל ימים יפים מלוהתני, to a beautiful days, feels like basket, ואל יפעת הגן, and to the beauty of the garden. מי מקיף לך כל זאת? Who credits you with all of this? מצעד של סנטימנטים, sentiments parade. רוח, spirit, נפש, bodily spirit, ניצוצות, sparks, ולב מלא פטנטים. And a heart full of patents. פטנטים. מי מקיף לך כל אלה? Who credits you with all of this? ומעל הכל, מתי? And above all of this, when? שאלה יפה נשאלת. A beautiful question is being asked. נשאלת בוודאי. Surely is being asked. So this is the poem, yes, of Who Credits You with all of this. I recorded it this morning in Hebrew. Maybe we shall do music around it, but if not, I can also send it to you and you could listen to it as well. Yes, who credits all of us with beautiful mountains and seas and continents? Who? With sentiments. We think this is my sentiment. I love someone. How can we are even capable of anything? We learn from the story of the book of Daniel that if there is no spirit animated, nothing will move or will go. So this is the poem of the day, Shir Shel Yom, poem of the day, and I'm very happy to share it with you. We say poem in English, poem in Hebrew, it is like pulsating, like they say the heart is pulsating, halev poem, the heart is. This is the pulse of the day, the moment. So you're most welcome, and Jill, this is the I'm very happy to thank you for sharing this beautiful painting, that all of us fell in love with it and think it's amazingly beautiful and expressive, deeply expressive. So thank you so much for sharing it. It has a a prophecy. How do you say? It has a prophecy in it. Yes. 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 Yes, Rodrigo. Yes, of course. Yes. So thank you so much. And if you have friends, anything to share, painting, poem, a story, a doodle, a song, please feel free. It is always nice to, how do you say, to see what you think of or what goes through you if you're willing to share. So all of us wishing you a very good week. Shabbat Shalom, and see you soon on Sunday. תודה ולהתראות.